Hello, beautiful people. Welcome, welcome. So today I'm going to talk about the secret weapon to stop the shaming game. I talked about yesterday the dangers of the chronic shame, the shaming game or the shaming society that we live in on our health. And that it's an umbrella of the emotion of fear, because it's ultimately the fear of disconnection from society or family, friends, self, and the belief or the core linked to the core three negative beliefs that you're not worthy of, or I'm not worthy of love, connection. Okay. So that we have to fix ourselves, and we're not enough, that we're somehow broken. We have to solve something to be whole again. All of these deep beliefs are so rooted in our society, in our, in our everyday lives, and this really creates so much internal pressure and so much internal hatred or criticism, and no wonder our bodies at some point kind of come up and say, what the hell, enough's enough, wake up, slap across the face, wake up, with an illness or a disease or chronic pain or whatever. So it's, there is a very, very deep rooted shaming game that's going on. And so today I'm going to shed light on how we can actually overcome it. And the secret weapon that Brené Brown and her research showed for people who are in the worthy, or the believers of themselves tribe, how can we actually generate that? And it comes back down to the core beliefs, right? That these people, these wholehearted feeling that they are worthy, not shaming themselves, are basically have an in-depth and deep courage to stand up to be themselves, and express themselves in their imperfection or their perfect imperfection, right? So that's the name of the game, which is really like going back to the whole concept of core beliefs, that if you identify them, then you can actually start to upgrade them and realize that it's based on a belief that I'm not worthy. People who have this this ability to not shame themselves and feel worthy, is just that they believe that they are. It's as simple as that, right? So generating this worthiness belief takes practice. The authentic expression of being able to let yourself be seen and fully embracing that, and the kind of wabi-sabi, I love this wabi-sabi Japanese style art that is just allowing it to be what it is, and not having this feeling of having to be perfect. And which is why I didn't delete the video yesterday that I made a mistake in. I lost my train of thought. I could have redone it or re-edited it or whatever out, but I decided to leave it in because since we're talking about authenticity and showing up and being real, and having this, being able to make mistakes in public rather than putting out these perfection videos, and helping people to get to their next level selves and their health and their well-being, right? You have to model imperfection, or you have to allow, or we have to create an environment where we can actually be imperfect in our perfection, right? So because everything is perfect in its natural way, right? So getting back to the secret weapon to start stopping the shaming game is vulnerability. So being able to express yourself and be truly seen for who you are. Take a deep breath. it brings up a lot of stress, but the other way, the shaming game also creates a lot of stress in our bodies, right? So being visible, allowing yourself to be visible and to be, in your whole authentic self, which is what our essence is. It's all the programming that's on top of us that doesn't allow us to be this. So what does vulnerability mean to you? You can type it in the chat if you want, or you can the comments below. But for me, it's like the willingness to be wrong and to be seen to make mistakes, like I did yesterday. It's to be able to see, to trust in yourself, and love, for example, wholeheartedly. Being able to be in a relationship and love someone, even though if you don't know if it's going to work out. Being able to stand up to a friend and say, that behavior or something that hurt me, let's talk about it. Vulnerability is a lot of different things. Putting boundaries sometimes creates a sense of, and the vulnerability of that. Breathing through our feelings is also being vulnerable, allowing space for our wabi-sabi or perfectionism, to express yourself despite the fear of ridicule, standing up and speaking your beliefs. All of this is just ways of creating a sense of vulnerability and the connection, right? So developing a deep connection with yourself and with others is the core to creating, to de-shaming yourself, right? So being vulnerable to connect also creates the deeper connection, and being able to live your life with integrity to yourself rather than society. So being able to stand up and being able to create opportunities for yourself to be vulnerable is the name of the game, right? So I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about this a little bit more tomorrow. But what I also want to say about shame is that the shame can't live in the light. So if there are some things that you're shameful about, as soon as you share it with somebody, and this is why it's the root is connection with others. As soon as you share it with somebody, you cannot. It actually dissipates. It's an interesting emotion from that point of view, because it once shared and shone light on, the shame disappears. So it's vital that we understand that. Bringing shame out, calling out shame, dissolves it, right? And I'm going to talk about tomorrow the avoidance behaviors that we do due to trying to numb our vulnerability or numb our emotions, and what the cost of that is to our vital energies. So starting to have to stand up and be in your authentic self, I know takes time, and it starts with connection, sharing your shame, and starting to create a practice of getting out of your comfort zone, standing up and saying your truths anyway. Developing that muscle that you can actually of noticing, of being out of your comfort zone, right? It's our comfort zone is the wall, or the box that we keep ourselves in, of who we believe that we are rather than our essence, right? Starting to say in having the intention to be more vulnerable. So making it as an intention to be more visible, more vulnerable, getting out of your comfort zone helps to actually start the practice. You can have some affirmations to yourself, like, I'm safe to be seen. That's what I started with at the very beginning of this journey. I'm safe to be seen in my vulnerable self and express myself and my truths. So you can start saying it as a mantra to yourself, and you start to realize that this is, you know, the ability to be able to stand up and say, you know, and be vulnerable starts to, you know, be easier every time, right? And I love this one that I have now. I'm a unique expression of the universe. I say this to myself every day. I'm a unique expression of the universe, and I rejoice in that now, so that you can start to really bring in this deep sense of safety in your body. And also another one, maybe it will resonate with you. I came here to be seen and have a profound impact on the world. And it's my responsibility to presence my visibility wherever I go. And I say that almost daily. So with that, I'm going to love you and leave you. And I'm going to go into this a little bit more detail tomorrow, because shame is such a big part of our chronic pain epidemic. The negativity and the emotional vibration of shame is so detrimental and so such a difficult emotion to hold in your body chronically, thus creating lots of disease and chronic pains and symptoms. And so I really believe that I'm hoping that this will help people to get to their, enlighten them to bring awareness to the fact that chronic pain and shame go together. Okay, so I love you and leave you. Start a practice of becoming more vulnerable and creating deep connection, which is the root of what shame is all about. Okay, bye for now. See you tomorrow.